nuclear Navy taught me about responsibility too. And even though you can designate, you can designate authority, you can give someone else the authority to do something that you would normally do, but it doesn't relieve you of responsibility because you designated the authority doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're not responsible anymore. Because you can designate authority, you can't designate responsibility. That you can share. You can share responsibility, but you can't pass it on. You still have your part. You're still part of it. So I was like a shutdown maneuvering area watch. We were like in port, and when you shut down the reactor, you turn off the rods, go down, and you keep the pumps on. You shut off the pumps, and you have what's called natural circulation through a bypass pipe. But you have to be careful about the steam generators on the secondary side. They have vents on them that sometimes they still have water. They still have water in them. The water circulates through them, but if they're still called residual heat, the reactor still stays for a very long time, has residual heat. So you have to open up vents periodically to vent pressure from the steam generators. And I was not the real watch. I did not do that because I was in the maneuvering area, standing watch over the control panels. There was a mechanics mate, that did that. It was a secondary watch standard that was outside in the engineering spaces. Okay, and he was actually above me in rank. I was second class. He was first class, but that didn't make a difference. I was still the senior watch standard. So I was still, as far as the functioning goes, I was still above him in the watch. But he was a senior rank. But anyway, he apparently, when he went down, he neglected to do that toward the end of the watch, didn't open the steam valve, and they almost overpressurized the steam generator. Could have had a leak in the pipe. Could have been even a primary reactor coolant to secondary coolant leak, possibly. So that was an incident report. Whenever you do that, you do an incident report. The incident report doesn't have names or dates. It just says this happened, that this is what happened on this date. But anyway, I got called up. I didn't do anything. He was the one who forgot to do it, and I had no way of knowing that he forgot to do it. It didn't occur to me. I didn't know what all of his duties were, or perhaps I should have. But anyway, I still had my share of responsibility as senior watch standard. So they called him in first. I don't know if they wrote him up or not, but they called me. They had to get testimonies from me, and they didn't write me up or anything, but they put a note on my record that I had been part of this watch where there was an overpressurization. There was no damage done. They did pressure testing afterwards, testing, everything was fine. But I still was not on my record, but because I was senior watch standard. So I know, even though I didn't do anything wrong, that was in the chain of command, so I still had some responsibility in that. So I tell anybody, if you're going into the nuclear Navy, that's the first thing you need to remember. You can designate authority to other people, but we're all responsible together, essentially. So you can't pass on responsibility.
Rickover is also saying that you have to create the environment that creates the safety.
Yes, exactly. We document these things, we study these things, we see how these things happen, and we try not to, so we avoid them again. So the safety record was very good because we were vigilant. And in a way, it doesn't have to be a little bit paranoid. Being a little bit paranoid can avoid headaches, worse problems down the line. You just have to be, but the thing is, that's why we have to be close. You have to be close, you have to know each other, know how we do things, what we do. And that's why you have to be a band of brothers, because like I say, we weren't never in combat or any situation like that, but it was almost similar in a way, and that your lives depend on each other, and to say, well, I didn't know, or I didn't, he was away from me, you still feel, well, I could have maybe been there. I could have maybe done something. But